Hello and welcome to your favorite show that features the brightest minds in Nigeria's creative industry. This is the Camera Lounge Season 2, brought to you proudly by Camerajoint, Nigeria's #1 camera store. I am Olukayode Alayande, your host. Our guest on the show today is a renowned documentary, portrait, and wedding photographer with over 10 years in the craft. But more than that, she is a possibilities igniter, an educator, a coach, and international speaker, an optometrist turned photographer. Her creative excellence has brought her so much recognition on several platforms, not just here in Nigeria, but across the world, winning several laurels to her name. Please welcome with me to the Camera Lounge Season 2, the creative lead and founder of Gazmadu Studios Lagos, Yagazie Eguare. You're welcome. Wow. You know, generally, people will come from things like fine arts to photography.
Right.
They will do things like political science to photography, but optometry to photography. How did that happen?
Well, funny enough, there's a lot of ways that they relate. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the eye and the
yes,
lens.
Exactly,
I see the
because
connection
it's
now.
literally very, very similar in terms of the technique. Because there's a way the camera sees, and then there is a way the eye sees.
Yes, I can see here. There's a book here, The Photographer's Eye.
Yeah. So you know, it came from that point, because again, with the eye there is the lens.
Yes, yes,
right.
yes.
And there is also there's the pupil, which serves like the aperture. Yeah, so it was the principles of that was used to put to create a camera. So there are lots of ways, and also the principles of light as well, when they explain how light hits the light, reflection and diffusion and all of that. So there was a lot of correlation.
Let me ask you, so how much impact did you studying optometry have on your photography?
So I think studying optometry made me, while I was an optometrist, there are lots of things that I developed in school at that time. First of all I just became very genuinely interested in people, right? Yeah, I was always talking to people. I was always asking for their stories. I'll bring my friends together and I'll now tell them, oh, you know what, I'm going to interview you right now. Tell me about this, tell me about that. And they're like, why are you doing all of this, you know? And I became interested in helping to make things happen for other people. So just problem solving. And it also exposed me to leadership, because I was in a dance group at the time and I was the leader of my dance group. And I think that was from like my 400 level or 500 level. I was the leader of my dance group, and then I went for elections. I did manifesto, all of those things.
For the dance group?
No, that was for the dance school, but for my departmental. What is the?
So you were into politics in school?
Sort of, yes. You know, what do they call it? The student body, right?
Who would not be voting for the delectable? Yagazie.
So I mean, I pushed for that, because I mean, I saw myself as being in a position where I could lead and also influence people, and that really challenged me, because I did things that I would never do. Manifesto, talk about why people should vote me, and you know, it introduced me a bit into politics. So I would say there were different, you know, and it also made me really because I put my everything into being an optometrist. I was one of the best in my class. And, you know, I would say then that because I am here, I have to be the very best that I can be here. And I'm the best that I can ever be. So even when I'm leaving, I'm like, how far, what's the best one I can go for? So that's excellent spirit and that drive to just become more and more of who I can be. You know, it developed. I mean, it got more flesh in university. So it was just an aftermath of this. I'm just living through that in as a photographer. Yeah.
You know, that mindset, being the best, giving your best, giving your all, inspiring people, connecting with them. I see that it shines through even in the last 10 years of your photography. So my question is, how did you develop that mentality?
I believe that it is it's connected to God, in the sense that, God is all about people and love, and he's all about, he's all about people. Well, I'm the second born, and my sister and I were very close in age, right?
Okay.
And I have 3 younger ones. So maybe I was also in a position in my family where I had younger ones that, I felt like I was responsible
okay,
for.
so leadership was thrust on you.
Yes, and I generally just admire, from when I was small, I would admire people that I would admire high achievers. I remember one time I was in, I think it was primary school or secondary school, in my early secondary school days, my mom brought this book, I think it was 12 women leaders who are doing phenomenal. Oprah was there. I remember I took that book and I read that book over and over again. I took it. So there was just something, I was just drawn to, people doing exceptionally well in whatever it is they were doing. It really didn't matter what you were doing. I wasn't drawn, it has to be this. It was just, just that drive for just being excellent and just doing better. Yeah.
All right, so let's now make that connection between your educational background, which was being an optometrist, and photography. What was the tipping point? How did the story graduate to you becoming a photographer?
By my 5th year in school, as expected, when you're getting towards the end of a journey, you start to think about,
what next?
What next? And I would think about that. And my colleagues, they will always talk about how, they were going to open up this clinic, they were going to be this, they were going to be that. And then I would just not be in those kind of conversations, or even if I'm there, physically, I would just not say anything, because I have always believed in the greatest deceit is self-deceit, in the sense that there's no point saying something when you're saying it because somebody else is saying it. So because I would not say anything.
That's also a quality, You know that.
Yeah. So because I just didn't feel anything, so I would enjoy their conversation. I was like, oh, that would be great. Oh, this is happening. But I just wouldn't share mine, because I just felt there was just something missing. And I could not figure it out. By my final year, and I remember it was like the first or second semester, there was just a gathering of, me and my friends from all this discipline and everything, and we were just talking about it, and people were just talking about how they were going to do this after school, doing this after school, and I just told them that I don't see myself being an optometrist. I felt like my life was just so much more vibrant than just being in an office space, because I did my internship and I did my NYSC in hospitals, so I loved taking care of people and
people
see them
again.
Be better.
People.
Yes. But it was just, I didn't just see it. I didn't see it that way. And I told them that when I think about my time after NYSC, that I see a curtain close. I didn't even know what that meant.
You see what?
A curtain close.
Oh wow.
Yes. So it was like, I told them, like, I don't see anything else after that time. I think my 5th or my final year in school, I saw this leadership conference or something in a magazine, and very weird. I just told my dad that I want to attend it, me from there, and that I'm going to Lagos. All that's just all I want to attend. And he was like, okay. And it was for business owners, and I was like, you don't have a business? Yes, I was like, okay, I will attend it on your behalf. You have a business, so I'm going to present your business there. That's what I'm going to do. And he just didn't understand it. But I was so driven. I was like, I have to attend this. And I had already plotted everything for him. I said, this is what it's going to have. I've saved some money. I'm going to pay for my transport and all of that. And I came to Lagos. And I remember when I left my aunt's house and I was just going on my way to the play. It was in Muson Center, and I was in the BRT bus. And it was just at that moment in that bus, I was just looking through the city. And it was then I realized this is where I am going to be. I didn't know why, I didn't know what. And as soon as I came back, I told my cousins, I was like, I'm going to be in Lagos. And I'm not just going to be in Lagos, I'm going to be very well known here.
Welcome back to the Camera Lounge Season 2, and I have been speaking with the creative lead at Gazmadu Studios here in Lagos, Nigeria, Yagazie Eguare. Thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Now, there was a time you were known for quite a number of genres of photography, but at some point you funneled into taking portraits, professional headshots, and especially you said focusing on women. Now, what informed that strategic adjustment to your craft?
Definitely, I love weddings, and we still do weddings, probably not in the proportion that we used to do weddings. But I also love portraits. And I remember when I was shooting portraits, I would create this really iconic portrait of my bride, and which got a lot of attention. And I just loved photographing women. So for some time I realized, oh, you know what, I want to get into shooting a bit more portraits and seeing how that goes, because I sort of like the connection that is established on a one-on-one basis. I love the stories of weddings, but I think I wanted more, and I thought, portrait is something that I can bring into this, because at my core, I love telling stories of people, right? And just helping people become more of who they are, or who they were created to be. So with portrait, we shoot every kind of portrait, right? But I think over the years, we became specifically known for creating personal branding portraits for women.
I see.
And one of those times was obviously one of the days that my colleague at the time, when I photographed her, I just did her makeup. I thought she looked really, really beautiful. And I kept admiring her every time. I was like, I have to take pictures of you. And then I told her, oh, I would love to photograph you. I just started this thing and I want to practice more. And then I did her makeup, I did her hair, and then I photographed her. And after I did the editing, I sent it to her. She was just all over the place. Oh my God, I love the way I look. And I've never seen myself as beautiful. You mean this is me? You mean I'm beautiful like this? She put it out everywhere. She would never put out her pictures. She put it out everywhere. People were, and it was actually what she said about, you mean this is me? Like, you mean I'm this beautiful? And I was just confused, because I was like,
You didn't know that you didn't know that you are this
how?
way.
Because I'm just like, yo, I'm not understanding you. Like, how is it that you do not know that you're beautiful? And I also saw what that did to her self-image, right? And what doing that to her self-image influenced how she showed up, and how she thought about herself, because it's almost like she started believing more in herself. And I was like, wow, this is miraculous, because that would impact in the way you show up at your work. It would impact the way you show up as a mother. It would impact the way you show up everywhere, because all of a sudden now you see you. And when you truly see you and understand that you can be inspired by you.
I see a connection now. One thing I've seen with your efforts on the social media, on your page, is you put up a picture of a woman, a client, a project that you've done. But you don't just say, we filmed this, we did this. Then you begin to signpost the qualities of those women and how they made you feel, the encounter, the experience that you had with them.
Yeah, because my photography is about the people. It's not about me. It has absolutely nothing to do with me. It is just, I am just privileged to be used as a tool. And that's the way that I see myself, because I see myself, I am just like, God has put me here to just shed light. Like, it's in there, and I'm just going to take the torchlight and just shine it. Oh yeah, see, can you see what the Lord has put inside?
So this is special, right? And I know that you can tell when you look at other people who are very excellent photographers, but they're not having impact. It looks like this is the link. Now, what do you have for someone who wants to elevate their craft to that level where they're able to connect it on the soulish realm, where they're able to find essence in that exercise of photography? How can they walk that journey? What do they need to do?
I'll say just go back to the drawing board again, right? Because social media has made it really difficult for authenticity to flow. And for people to just really do what they really want to do, right? Not what they think they should do, or what they think is selling, or what they think it should be the right thing.
You're shaking a mad table right
now. But it's true. It's just the truth. And it's, I mean, until you constantly get into this where you keep doing, you keep asking yourself, you keep calling yourself to awareness that this is not, like, you would be sucked into it. It's not a, you don't grow out of it, right? Because that is where we are now. That's the generation that we are now. I mean, it has its great benefits, right? But it has its, disadvantages that if we're not conscious of what it is doing to us, you will get sucked in. The competition, the comparison, the fear of missing out, the over wanting to show, right? When, it's just, it's just a whole lot to show that you're also doing work. The ego that comes with it, the ego, right? When you've started ranking up all the likes and you start to feel like, you know what? I have arrived now. So there is just a whole lot. And we must, especially as, when you're seen as someone that you're good, right? It's even that you enter that trap more. You have to work consistently in ensuring that never gets into your mind. You strip yourself. You die to all of those things. You die to, accolades and achievements and all of those things, because there's so much more. There's a whole lot of work to be done. So we can't over glorify past glory. We keep looking forward and what is the next thing, and how can we do this in a bigger scale, greater capacity? How can we influence more life? How can we drive more with this thing? Yeah.
Wow, so you've gone from that to do quite a number of projects that we can see. The Lady Boss Portrait series is just one of them. Tell us about that project. How did he come about, and what was the impact on the people you featured in that initial exercise, and the impact on your own business as well?
Well, I mean, the Lady Boss Portrait campaign, it's just been, it's phenomenal. This is the 5th time we're doing the campaign, Bisola and I. So it's in collaboration with a leading, clothing brand for women as well, Lady Biba. So we met at, we won the Future Awards together, and we congratulated ourselves, and we talked about how excited we were about, how we're fans of each other and all of that. Wow. And then we happened to be in a workshop together. And, and I told her about, I love your pieces, my clients wears them. And she was like, I really like your pictures and all of that. And she just said, we should work together. I was like, yes, we should. And that's really it. We were just like waiting, and we just said, why don't you bring your clothes and then you take the pictures. I think we can come up with this thing, for women, and, just help them to change their image and all of those things. I was like, great idea. Immediately we started. We put together the plan, and we launched the first one in January 2019. And since that time, it's been phenomenal, right? It has taught me a lot. It has taught me about partnerships and collaboration, right? Working with another brand, right? Being a business owner, you're used to being the boss, right? The one that's, but when you have to work exactly with someone, it taught me how to work together with, how to share a vision, how to look at ideas together, how to compromise, how to draw energy from other people. And it was also great for me because, again, sometimes the entrepreneurship journey can be really lonely. And when you're just doing something where, you know, it's not entirely on you, like both of you are sort of sharing a lot of responsibilities, it's a lot more comforting. And also she's been such a driven woman. She's been doing this for such a long time. I have learned so much from Bisola in the course of us working together. And there has been so many challenges along the way that we have learned to, grow through those, overcome them. Yes, overcome them. So it's been great. For the business, it's been great for the business. I mean, collaborations are powerful in terms of brand recognition, and brand visibility. And because again, what we're doing is we're sharing where I am introduced to her own network, she's introduced to my own network, and we're able to sort of share, now create a pool of network of people that know us and know the brand, and they're able to, they keep sharing that. So in terms of revenue, of course, it has, definitely helped us a whole lot. It has been such a great way for us to start the year every single time. So we never really start the year like, okay, let's slow down. No, we start the year like, come. Exactly, we start the year on a high. And that sort of set the tone for the rest of the year for us, and
Can you share some of those stories with us of impact of this partnership?
First of all, even the women that we usually feature for each of the campaign, I think seeing how their journey, even in their career and business, almost takes an entire 360 degrees turnaround from the time that we did that for them is just amazing to see. It's just beautiful to see. And even women who have come, there are so many women who never takes pictures. They're busy corporate ladies. They don't care about all of these things. So the convenience of putting this together just made them see, oh, okay.
Okay, not bad.
I mean, we've had clients that she has never, there was this particular client, she had never ever taken pictures before. So she came, she's the top executive and she's very busy. And then she was like, okay, wow, I didn't know that, this
service existed.
It was possible that I looked this way. It was even just that. And just seeing women fall more in love with who they are. I think that has been the golden thing, because after that, she just was like, what? I'm doing this every single year. I must keep taking pictures.
Oh, wow.
Yes, this thing is, wow, this is amazing.
So I'm tempted to ask you about pricing and other issues that have to do with the business of photography, but I'm told we have to take a break now. So that will be after the break. Welcome back. I've been speaking with the creative lead and founder of Gazmadu Studios here in Lagos, Yagazie Eguare. And this is that time where we talk about the industry and business of photography in Nigeria. But first, we realized that a lot of photographers struggle with being able to price their services appropriately. But I've heard you say in an interview before that it's about being able to draw a link between the value you carry and the people who use that value. I'd like you to expatiate on that.
It's connected to either how you feel about yourself or how well you know yourself. There's a self in it, because that human element. So because that's an area people don't necessarily like to sort of look into or even delve into more, or even aware of, right? We either shift out of that and we just focus on whatever it is that you think, in the sense that you're saying, oh, this picture is this price. Do you understand? Or you're saying this portrait, this is the price. This album, this is the price. So you're focusing more on the product.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Rather than.
And leaving out the human element that made the product. Do you get what I'm saying?
I see.
And that's why there will still be people that will say, how much per picture? Do you understand? Because to them,
it's just a picture.
It's just a picture, right? So, but it doesn't really matter what they think, because again, they're coming from a place where this is what I have known growing up. So if I need to know any better, you need to educate me what I don't know. Now, because you need to educate me, and you're not even educated yourself. You know, there's a problem there.
So where do we start?
So where do we start? So, you know, so it's like, it's that conflict. Like, you're not understanding me, I'm not understanding you.
Yes.
nobody's going to do this, but you're the one, they're the service provider.
Lead the conversation.
Who should lead the conversation? So, because there's an aspect that self is involved in, so it means that there has to be an understanding of, you know, how to value yourself and what it means to value yourself, right? And valuing yourself is deeply rooted in how much you know yourself and your abilities and what you do, your experiences, what you bring to the table, and, you know, how you do what you do, and all of those things. So your experiences, your everything coming to the table, right? So the more aware you are about those things, and it also is also connected to how much you have invested in yourself, in this craft, and the knowledge, and also the experience that you have had. Everything comes into self-value. Yeah, because experience counts. However way you want to look at it, right? And how much knowledge you have of yourself counts. Past experiences, yeah. So it's all tied, yeah.
So you're saying essentially that the world begins to respond to you to the degree that you know yourself and appreciate yourself.
Okay, any day you wake up is your morning. Until that time, you can complain all you wish, but nothing changes until you change. Yeah. So everything just points back. My own is just for people to stop. Don't put it. It's nobody's responsibility. And I think once you accept that you are solely responsible for wherever it is that you are right now, whether it's in your business, your pricing, you must first of all accept that you are responsible. It's not the clients that did not pay you well. It's not the person that cost you. No, it is none of that. You are responsible. So because that is a painful truth, it's not a pain that people are willing to address. Yeah, it's too confrontational.
What's your appraisal of the photography landscape in Nigeria, for instance?
Oh, I think it's just beautiful. I think we have some of the best creatives as far as this world is concerned in Nigeria. The best of photographers, the best of in different genres. I think we have incredible artists here. And more than ever before, I think this is the time that the world needs to know that Africa, we have it here.
Yeah.
Like, they need to know what we carry, right? Where those days where you bring people from abroad to come and take, we are now at the stage where we need to be people need to be going and showing them or bringing them to see. Yeah. So I think, the industry in terms of skill, amazing, incredible. When I see some work, I'm just like, what? Like, this is, you can't even, well, come on now. We're just doing so brilliant work.
Good. So, all right, in terms of crafts and creativity, we're up there. But certainly there are gaps. What do you think those gaps are?
The major gap is knowledge. There is huge knowledge gap. And this is not to speak of, this is not even the skill aspect. Is knowledge about other things that can help you as a creative, as a businessman, to be out there.
Like what? Systems?
Right? Systems. Systems. And also visibility, positioning. How to effectively position yourself. Because it's not enough to be so good at something. So many people are. But there are people that are intentional about positioning, and they're getting the opportunities.
So let's break that down.
Yeah.
Give me examples of strategic positioning exercises or actions that good photographers can make.
First of all, visioning more than where you are right now starts the process of getting into that point and saying, okay, where do I need to be? How can I leverage more on what I have done? How much more can I do with this? What is knowledge about your environment, the community, your country, the political situation? Sometimes we're all in this box. We are too busy. We're not
Yeah.
We don't have enough time to know. We're too into ourselves. There are real world problems out there that your photography can shed light on, can tell stories about, that that can impact the world. What is the world looking for? What kind of solutions is the world looking for? Do you get?
All right. So this now ties to you're an educator at heart. I mean, you have your own GAZ, your training center where you train creatives.
Education.
What happens in those places?
So, I mean, our primary mission at Gazmado Studios is to equip and empower creatives so that they can build thriving businesses and just become more of who they are. So I am personally very business focused, right? I also believe in up-leveling skill sets. I love the beginning stages because I feel like that's the point, that's the area where you can, readjust some mindsets, because sometimes there are so many wrong mindsets we come into this thing with. So from that time, you can make some serious mindset change. It becomes harder when you have, gone a bit. Then I'm also very passionate about helping the people that are already doing so well and saying, you're doing well, there's so much more you can do, right? How can we build more thriving businesses? How can we not be opening shops and closing them? How can we be thinking more than ourselves when it comes to this industry? How can we not be solo-minded and saying, we want to build an industry. I don't just want to be a good photographer. I want to be known that I was able to contribute towards the success of other people. I want to raise people. I want to build people. I want to build an organization, a company that is going to be able to hire more people who love this work the way that I do, but might not want to take the business the way that I'm taking it, because being a business owner is not for the faint-hearted. This thing is overrated. Like, I want to do it on my own. I want to be on my own. It is like it takes a level of tenacity, doggedness, like it takes a whole lot. It takes a whole lot of feeling like it takes a whole lot of struggling and saying, you know what, we're doing it, we're getting up. So it's not everybody that are built to be able to do that. And it's not, everyone was not designed and created by God like that. We all have our strengths and our specialties in different areas. Yours might be to build people together, and to other people is to own some certain space and do it so well that they don't have to worry about business. They don't have to worry about how much they are earning. They don't have to worry about school fees and the future. Do you get what I'm saying? Like how it is in banks and hospitals, because every doctor that works in a hospital does not own the hospital. Right? Same thing with a bank, but they are living comfortably in they're doing their work with joy and focusing on their area of expertise, and they're still living good lives out of it. So it's more than us now. It's more than just I just want to take pictures. Yeah. This industry is thriving, and it is our responsibility to go beyond ourselves to say that we are going to preserve this and make it better for those that are coming.
There's something I want us to do now. I know you have, yes, all your photographs are fantastic.
Yes,
they're iconic.
Yeah.
They have strong and long shelf lives and all of that. But I believe you also have favorites amongst them.
That would be so hard.
Yes, I know. But I mean, let's go through some of these pictures. And I want you to talk us through some of these amazing pictures that you have taken. Let's begin with this one.
I love this portrait because it talks me about, it just says to me that impossibility is nothing. And this is why. Now, we were coming to the reception. This couple, they had told me that they had this place that, they created for their pictures and all of that. As soon as we arrived at the venue, we were like, oh, let's go and take the pictures. They were like, oh, they need to call them up now, this, that, we can't do it. I'm like, what? We haven't taken any pictures of you guys. We have to do something. They were like, oh, no, guys, I'm so sorry. You can't do this. We have to shoot inside. I was like, and it was in Muson Center. There was just no way we could go about it. So they were just walking in, and I was just like, you know what, you guys just come upstairs just before you walk out. Just come upstairs, let me just take this picture of you. I'm not sure, but I think this place is going to work. And thankfully, there was just this beautiful light that was just coming from the window.
Yeah.
And it was just hitting them directly. And I just told them, just stand there. And then, you know, I created this image. I love it so much because, first of all, you definitely cannot tell where it is, where it was taken.
Yeah.
And it just, I love that it taught me how not to stop striving to be better or just take that extra mile. Because I could have just said, oh, it's okay, maybe it's you people's money. It taught me about going the extra mile, even when they were okay with that not happening, right? And, you know, when we had taken this and when they had, you know, the husband who wasn't even involved with the process, by the time the wedding was done, it was usually the women. He sent me this really long email about how he had the best wedding photography experience.
Wow.
And how we're so professional, the images that he can't believe this, that it's just mind-blowing, it was artistic, this, that. So it is so special for me because it is not something, it was on the spur of the moment. I didn't envision anything, right? But I just went with the flow and I adapted quickly to the, you know, things that were changing, you know, as I was shooting.
Good, nice.
The second one is this family portrait of this woman and her 4 daughters.
I love this. I love this.
So I love it because her daughter booked me from Port Harcourt, right? She had seen our work and she was like, oh, her mom is turning 60 and she really wants this picture of her with her sisters, and we booked it, and you know, they had such a great experience and they were just all so warm, all so loving, also.
Love it.
And for me, it just reminds me of the importance. And they're just women. They're just 4 girls. She doesn't have any boy.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Adorable ladies.
Yes. And it was just them and their mother. And they're such strong women and just such, you know, inspiring women. So it reminds me of, you know, the importance and power of motherhood, right? And also that it's okay if you have just girls.
I like that angle.
Yeah, it's okay. You are enough as a family, even if this is what it is. If this is what family represents, that's still enough.
Yeah, because you can't look at this picture and say something is missing.
Yes, you know, yes, exactly. I mean, it's still enough. And of course, I'm also a family with 4 girls.
So there's some kind of connection.
There was a connection. So it was just, you know, I have a brother though, but we're 4 girls. So
yes.
It's just, you know, it just reminds me of how we grew up, you know, just, you know, that. Now this one is a portrait of the Olu of Worry. Yes. It is very special to me because, I mean, at the time when the portrait was taken, right, you know, of course he was going to be the Olu of Worry, but it was not anytime soon. And it was just, it just literally just came about. We're like, oh, we're gonna, you know, Olori, you know, told me that, oh, she needed, you know, portraits of her husband and all of that. And during her own session, we did it. Now, during that session, I was very sure I think it was just about how I felt. I felt like there was something different about these particular pictures that I was doing now. Now, I did not know that, you know, I knew nothing about but I was sure that there was just something about it that was different from every other picture that I had taken. And of course, you know, the process, it was the atmosphere, it's almost as though I literally cannot describe the feeling that I had creating the pictures for both of them at the time. And of course, the greatest joy was knowing that when he was announced to be, that he was going to be the Olu of Warri, I got a message that, oh, these pictures are everywhere. Do you know that the Olu of Warri is going to be the Olu of Warri, and this. Now, I mean, it was actually beyond the fact that the pictures, it was what it said to me about my own journey and the role my photography plays in my life, and how we, you know, it spoke to our why, deeply to our why. And that's why it holds such a special moment. So it's not, again, my picture is not about lighting. Sorry, it will surprise you. I'm sorry to disappoint anybody. It's not about the, you know, I mean, I do most of the things right. I mean, you can't see my picture and say, but it's really not so much about that.
Yeah, it's about the soul and
it's
the
always
why.
about that. Yeah.
Good.
And then this one, this red portrait, I love it so much. Of Flash. Yes. Flash is such, she's such a beautiful woman. And I love it because I love to see women see themselves in a way that they have never seen themselves before. Flash is, I mean, she's a top corporate woman. She's beautiful, right? But I mean, the first time we had shot her, she had never done this before. And after that time, she was like, what, guys, this, that. So by the time she was turning 30, she was like, you know what, guys, there's no, I'm coming all the way. I'm flying down. You have to be the one to do this, right? And we, you know, when she picked up the dress, she was like, guys, I'm not sure about this dress. I don't think it's going to work. See, I was like, don't worry. Let's just do it. And she knew the hair she wanted to do. But after we're done, we're like, what? Like, she had never seen, I had never, I'm just like, the transformation, it was a transformation for me, because it was like, how can someone say that you are not a model? Like, you are like a superstar.
It's literally impossible to say.
It's impossible, right? But, you know, it's like, you are so much, there's so many, and that's the beautiful life of a woman. There's so many aspects of you, and all of them tied together, they're all beautiful. Then this last one is of one of my, oh my God, favorite clients ever, Jumoke. She has my heart. From the time that I photographed her, she is curvy, she's beautiful. And I think it was just so important to me, and it was just, in fact, it was so beautiful to me to create images of a beautifully curvy woman. And when she saw her images, she was like, it was the beginning of a entire journey of shooting her, you know, a whole lot of times after that. So, I mean, there's several pictures, but like I said, this one's really have a special place in my heart.
Wow, these are very, very amazing pictures. Plus, there is none of them that you could watch and look at and say, oh, this is outdated. They have very long shelf life. So at this point, we must say we're proud of you, Yagazie.
Thank you.
We're really proud of you. We're proud of the heart that your work and your projects carry. You're a light to Nigeria, you're a light to Lagos, you're a light to the industry. So on this note, we'll say thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
The Camera Lounge Season 2.
Very excited.
Yes, this is proudly brought to you by Camerajoint, Nigeria's #1 camera store. And I'm Kayode Alayande, your host. Bye now.
Okay, I'm with my best friend. I'm sure you guys know already. My best friends are always the Sony cameras, and this is the A7R5, recently just dropped by Sony Alpha. It's a 60 megapixel camera, and you know my favorite thing about the Sony is the autofocus system. It has an improved autofocus recognition. You can actually save, you know, the subject's face on the camera, and then it follows through anywhere the subject goes through. Your focus is intact. You know, in terms of video, it has 8K at 24p, and then it shoots 4K at 60p. The videos are amazing. I call it a hybrid master because you can actually use it for photography and video at the same time. It shoots 10-bit 422 video options and also includes S-Log 3 and Cinetone. It's a very easy way of shooting and getting your images ready for your client. And then in terms of raw files, because I know you're going to be saying it's a 60 megapixels, in terms of raw files, you can actually reduce it and have 26 megapixels and also have 15 megapixels. My best friend is the Sony A7IV. In terms of technology, it's a great camera. In terms of build quality, it's amazing. Ergonomics is amazing. The way, you know, the grip is, it's quite very sturdy and all. Sony camera is my best option. I don't know about you.